Long ago, during the incredible time we call the Renaissance, cities like Florence were buzzing with creativity. It was a time of rebirth, where artists learned to paint faces so lifelike they could almost speak, and engineers designed machines that seemed to come from the future. Thinkers were asking brand new questions about the world, challenging old ideas, and looking at everything with fresh eyes. In a small, dusty workshop tucked away near a busy city square, a young boy named Luca lived and worked. Luca was an apprentice, a student learning the craft of painting from a master artist. His daily life wasn't glamorous just yet. He wasn't painting grand masterpieces. Instead, his days were filled with cleaning brushes until his hands were stained with color, mixing pigments into vibrant paints, and preparing smooth wooden panels for his master's next creation. But while his hands were busy with simple tasks, his mind was always working. Luca watched everything. He listened, and most importantly, he learned. His master had a favorite saying: "To draw the world well, you must first truly observe it." So, Luca made that his mission. He observed with an intensity that few others had. He watched how golden sunlight streamed through the workshop window, creating dancing dust motes in the air. He noticed how shadows stretched and shrank as the day went on, changing the shape of everything they touched. He studied people's faces in the crowded square, fascinated by how a small smile or a slightly raised eyebrow could tell an entire story of joy or surprise. At night, when the city grew quiet, Luca's work wasn't over. He would fill page after page in his sketchbook with drawings of everything he had seen. He drew calloused hands, birds in mid-flight, the intricate architecture of buildings, and even the complex gears of a clock he'd seen. He was especially fascinated by how things worked, by the mechanics behind the beauty. One sunny afternoon, a prestigious commission arrived at the workshop. The master was hired to paint a massive mural for a public hall, a painting that would tell the story of the city. The mural was meant to show everyone working together in harmony, builders raising new structures, scholars debating ideas, farmers bringing in the harvest, and artists like themselves capturing it all. Luca was tasked with preparing the vast wall, mixing plaster and applying it smoothly. But as the master began to sketch the initial design, a frown creased his forehead. He stepped back, rubbing his chin in frustration. "Something is wrong," he mumbled to himself. "The perspective, it feels flat. The buildings in the background don't look real. They don't have any depth." Perspective, the revolutionary artistic technique that makes a flat painting look three-dimensional, was still a new and challenging concept for many artists. Seeing his master's struggle, Luca hesitated for a moment, his heart pounding. Then, gathering his courage, he spoke softly. "Master," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "May I show you something?" He opened his worn notebook to a specific section. On the pages were detailed drawings of streets that seemed to stretch far into the distance, with all the lines of the buildings converging at a single point on the horizon. The master's eyes widened in surprise, and then in understanding. "You have been studying perspective," he said, not as a question, but as a statement of fact. Luca simply nodded. "I watched how the streets seem to get narrower the farther away they go." Impressed by his apprentice's keen observation, the master beckoned him closer. Together, side by side, they worked on the mural's design, adjusting the lines based on Luca's sketches. When the mural was finally finished, it was a masterpiece. The painting felt alive, as if you could step right into the bustling city scene it depicted. Weeks later, when it was unveiled, crowds gathered to admire it. Whispers of amazement filled the great hall. "It feels so real," someone said. "Look at the depth. It's like you could walk down that street," said another. "It truly tells a story." Amidst the praise, the master found Luca standing quietly in the corner and placed a proud hand on his shoulder. "You are ready for more than just mixing paint, my boy," he said with a warm smile. That very evening, Luca was given his own small corner of the great mural to paint. He chose to paint a group of children, huddled together, completely absorbed in a book. As he carefully applied the colors, blending and shading, Luca had a profound realization. The Renaissance wasn't just about creating beautiful art. It was about something much deeper. It was about relentless curiosity. It was about asking questions, observing the world with care, and daring to combine ideas from art, science, and nature. And there, in that bright workshop filled with the scent of paint and the glow of new ideas, A young apprentice took his first true step into a future that he would help shape with his own imagination and his unending quest for learning. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.